Coast as Helene moves closer and closer. You're looking at some video near St. Petersburg in Sarasota, and you can see right now that pier is closed and that choppy surf. And let's take a look at some more video. This is out of South Florida, the calm after the storm, flooded streets and beaches in Naples. And then here at home, the Jacksonville Fire Rescue posted this less than an hour ago showing a tree down, and their message is to stay off the roads. We have live team coverage for you all night long, and our crews are in and outside of Jacksonville. We're in Lake City and up in Georgia and Waycross. And our first alert weather team is also tracking Helene minute by minute to bring you the latest updates on its path. We're going to get out to some of our crews in a minute, but we want to start with the forecast.
That's right. Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish and Corey Sima also here with us. The latest track of Helene just came down just minutes ago. What's it showing?
Yeah, the track hasn't changed a whole lot, Corey. The strength is what's the story, but it's not surprising. It's always been expected to hit as a Category 3 at least, if not Cat 4, and now the official forecast is a Cat 4.
And we have seen that rapid strengthening here over even just the last several hours, and Eyewall is kind of starting to get its act together. We'll talk about that. And yeah, we aren't out of it yet. No,
not at all. We'll see more impacts as we go through this evening and overnight. By no stretch of the imagination is this a direct hit for Jacksonville, Northeast Florida, and Southeast, but be careful with a quote-unquote just a mentality, because this storm will still pack a punch for parts of the area, and especially the more north and west you go from Jacksonville. So 130 miles west of Tampa is where Helene is right now, and realize that the wingspan, if you will, is hundreds of miles to the north and east from the center. In other words, the tropical storm force winds, and then of course the hurricane winds are in a smaller radius from the center, but those tropical storm force winds are now on the west coast of Florida. In fact, we have a live camera right now, a Department of Transportation camera from Tampa, and look at this. The Key Bridge, what do we call this exactly in Tampa, the big bridge there? The Franklin Howard Bridge. That's it. Thank you. Yes. Nicely done. Thank you. But look at the water here. Look how rough the surf is, and of course water going across the bridge. This is not an uncommon sight when there's a hurricane to the west of Florida. But Tampa's starting to take it on the chin now, and that's going to continue. Let's take a look at the track of Helene now. There's that eye, and Corey was mentioning it's really started to wrap up. Well, no doubt. You see those brighter clouds, that's really strong storms wrapping around the eye of the hurricane. And there's the track that takes it into the Big Bend, the northwest Big Bend and far eastern Panhandle, a little bit south and east of Tallahassee, and then on up into Georgia to near Atlanta, where it becomes a really big rainstorm. So our first alert weather day continues through tonight. Additional bands of heavy rain and storms still to move through. Strong winds and tornadoes, brief downpours, low to moderate rainfall totals. It's not that there'll be really a lot of rain with this, and quick movement helps us out for tomorrow. Along the coast and then west of Highway 301 is where we're going to see a pretty high impact, all things considered. Potential for damaging wind gusts and a few tornadoes, a few downed trees and power lines. In the yellow shading, I-95, much of Duval County, it's not as windy, but still strong winds. A tree or two may go down, and there will be that still threat for tornadoes. There'll be some flooding, especially at high tide over the next couple of hours along the St. Johns River with that south wind blowing into downtown. But then when you get more west, Waycross to Lake City, the impacts are much greater, and then particularly, of course, closer to the eye in the Panhandle, the northwestern parts of Florida, and on up into southwestern parts of Georgia. Corey?
Yeah, Mike, manageable is the word, because tomorrow we'll be able to get out and get done whatever you need to. And really, a lot of today has been pretty calm. We've had some wind gusts at times, especially closer to the coast of 40+ miles per hour. And there have been some bands of showers at times, including some tornado warnings up in southeast Georgia earlier today, but now we're starting to see bands move into the area. There's a burst of heavy rain over Keystone Heights right now. That's pushing into Bradford County up to the north and northwest. Headed into Stark at 5:09. That's about 5 minutes from now. Green Cove at 5:20. Middleburg at 5:24 and Oakleaf at 5:40. Additional showers are lifting up from Flagler and Putnam County. These are headed to Palatka at 5:08. Elkton at 5:20, and then St. Augustine, if they hang together, we're talking at 5:47. And there's been a history of tornado warnings with these showers moving out of Daytona Beach. So we got to watch those very carefully. And then there is Helene itself. There's some lightning being indicated in the eye of Helene. That tells us that Helene is getting stronger. And there are tornado warnings down around Tampa and Sarasota, and then also up around Apalachicola to the south of Panama City, or to the southeast. Okay, so here are the impacts. We will have a moderate rain impact. There may be some isolated localized flooding, but this is not a big rainstorm. for Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia, unless you live out toward Lake City and Waycross. And then the wind and the tornadoes, we are tracking a high impact for that, in particular with the tornado threat from about 8 to 9 o'clock tonight through 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. And we'll talk more about that risk for tornadoes. A tornado watch is in effect right now. We'll detail that coming up in the First Alert forecast.
And our live team coverage continues now in Lake City.
Action News Jax' Jake Snowfan is there, and Jake, this area is expecting some heavy rain and wind.
Yeah, but right now I'd say it's pretty much calm, a crisp breeze, if you will. If you take a look at my handy dandy anemometer here, you can see the wind speed hovering around 5. I've seen it get up to about 15 at the max. That's just a gust here or there. But if you take a look behind me, you can see some businesses are anticipating the potential for much higher winds boarding up their windows, but these businesses are in the minority, as most of the businesses here haven't seemed to have done much, if any, storm hardening. But the storm, as it's getting closer, does seem to have some residents here getting a little bit more nervous. Emergency response vehicles and line crews are staged around Lake City in preparation for Helene's arrival. County officials met this morning and took particular notice of Helene's eastward movement overnight, explaining impacts could be greater than first anticipated. We caught up with Marie Koblenz, who told us she has serious concerns for the safety of the people living in the mobile home park she operates. She says she's closely watching the forecast and even considering seeking shelter outside of the park herself. What is your biggest concern?
That the roofs will be blown off and somebody with the children might be hurt.
How many people would you say live in your mobile home park?
Probably about 70.
70? Do you know if any of them are going to shelters, or what's kind of been your advice to them?
I've been asking them, to clean everything up and take every precaution they can to leave if at all possible.
And of course, peak conditions here are not expected for several more hours. There are 5 storm shelters open in Columbia County and 1 pet shelter as well. You can find a full list of those locations on actionnewsjax.com. We'll be out here all night bringing you the latest on Hurricane Helene. For local coverage you can count on in Lake City, I'm Jake Snowfan, Action News Jax.
And it's less than 2 hours before high tide along the St. Johns River and Riverside, one of the areas of the city that's concerned with flooding. You see Helene here, and of course, Action News Jax' Robert Grant continues our team coverage. Robert, I'm looking behind you. I can already see the St. Johns River is churning up.
Been awfully choppy out here, and of course that storm surge that the First Alert weather team warned us about north of the Buckman Bridge and then towards downtown here. You can see those waves from the St. Johns River crashing up and over the seawall. That standing water in the parking lot here, it's starting to rise more and more. We're still just under 2 hours away from high tide as well, 6:43 the exact time for you. And neighbors here are taking that threat seriously. The main concern for neighbors along the St. Johns River is storm surge.
The water just coming up and flooding the cars and making it up to the sidewalk.
After living Riverside for 8 months, Melissa DeVoe has already seen the impacts of flooding along River Boulevard.
The water was all the way up to the sidewalk, and it was a little unnerving.
She's not taking any chances and moved her car to higher ground. For Diane Thompson, this is a safer spot than her hometown of Tallahassee. This hurricane refugee arrived in Jacksonville just yesterday.
I just wanted to see what the river is doing, how high it is. Not too worried about it right now.
Still, city officials warn neighborhoods along the St. Johns River could see flooding around high tide after 6 tonight. Over in San Marco, 7 temporary pumps are running. 5 more are on standby to flush out the water, as the city says it will be watching throughout the night.
With this storm really hitting primarily into the evening and overnight, we really are going to have to monitor that.
From Jacksonville,
just stay dry and stay safe.
To Tallahassee,
hang on. We're thinking about you.
The message of safety is priority. And you get a live look here back out at the St. Johns River. The city also has swift water rescue crews on standby both in downtown Jacksonville and then over in St. Nicholas. Something else we've noticed in the past hour or so, the wind and those gusts are starting to pick up here as well. Power lines knocking over and trees, that's another concern. Hundreds of linemen with JEA also on standby throughout the night. With local coverage you can count on in Riverside, I'm Robert Grant, Action News Jax.
Helene is being called one of the largest storms to come out of the Gulf of Mexico in the last century. Michael Yoshida takes us to Steinhatchee as state officials there are changing their message from evacuate to shelter in place.
Every minute that goes by brings us closer to having conditions that are going to be simply too dangerous to navigate.
The National Weather Service is using another term, unsurvivable. When it comes to the storm surge, Helene is expected to unleash on parts of the Florida coast in the coming hours.
If it's 20 feet like they're saying, it's going to change the landscape in Franklin County, I can assure you that.
Franklin and Taylor counties are in Helene's expected landfall zone. But for much of Florida's Gulf Coast, mandatory evacuations have been in place since Wednesday, with state and local officials imploring residents, leave while you can.
Some people have made decisions that they're going to hunker down, even though they were requested to leave.
Regardless of that, the governor says rescue crews are standing by.
If there's people that are going to be in distress, we're going to be there to be able to assist in those efforts.
Their message now, survival.
If you hear trees snapping around your home, treat it like a tornado. Get to an interior portion of your home, get as low as you can.
And silence, officials warn, doesn't mean safe.
What that actually means is you're in the eye of the hurricane. All right? Do not go out and survey damage.
An eye that could be up to 50 miles wide, with more catastrophic conditions less than an hour behind it. Helene is expected to roar up the southeastern U.S., with impacts felt as far north as D.C. in the days ahead. Right now, along with Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, and Virginia are under a state of emergency.
That was Michael Yoshida reporting. And Action News Jax has your weather information on our website and app, of course. You can find the Hurricane Center, Talking the Tropics with Mike, business closures, and more. And download the First Alert Weather app, where you can get instant updates on Helene sent to your phone.
So far, relatively quiet a good part of the day with a few exceptions today. I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish, but another band of heavy rain is working up from the south. Look how quickly these are moving north-northwest at 40 miles per hour, producing brief bursts of rain, strong winds, and an isolated tornado will be possible with this band as it approaches Jacksonville within the next hour. And then the eye of Hurricane Helene, and look, there's lightning in that eye wall now. That's an indication of an intensifying hurricane. That's a critical feature that we're just seeing for the first time with Helene. In that center right now, about 243 miles, that eye, from downtown Jacksonville. And while the center heads north-northeast bound into the Big Bend, we will certainly have some impacts right here at home. And I'll time it out for you along with Corey Sima in the First Alert forecast in a few minutes.
So I need everybody to pay attention to their local officials.
FEMA's activated, on standby and ready to go. The warnings from the director and the message from the president as Helene moves towards Florida and Georgia.
And if you need shelter, Florida's Emergency Management Division is partnering with Uber to give out free rides. It is free for all Northeast Florida counties, but you do need the Uber app, and you have to use this promo code, Helene Relief. It covers trips up to $35 to and from a shelter.
Stay tuned for a special free offer from Flash Force Tactical Flashlight. With its powerful telescopic zoom, the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight gives you a super bright light visible at a distance of over 2,000 meters. With 7 useful modes, plus a USB rechargeable battery, the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight is always ready to light up the night. And if you scan the code on your screen and order right now, we'll send you a second Flash Force Tactical Flashlight absolutely free. Hurry, this is a limited time offer. Scan the code on your screen to order now.
Say hello to the Cobb Gobbler, the effortless corn stripper. That's cream of the crop. With its ergonomic design, peeling corn has never been easier. Crafted from solid, rust-proof stainless steel, the Cobb Gobbler is built to last.
I love the Cobb Gobbler. Totally changed my salad game.
I used my Cobb Gobbler so much I bought 3 more. It shucks great.
Elevate any dish with freshly shucked corn. It's quick, simple to use, and easy to clean. Scan the code for an exclusive discount.
We all love recipes with garlic, but trying to use an awkward garlic press makes a smelly mess. Introducing the Great Garlic, your ultimate kitchen companion for effortlessly crushing garlic to perfection. Just place a peeled clove of garlic under the grate, rock it back and forth, and say goodbye to tedious chopping and messy mincing. The Great Garlic ensures consistent results every time. Scan the code on your screen to order your great garlic today. This is a limited time offer, so scan now and find out for yourself just how great the great garlic is.
If you use a pen, the Pen Tool Pro is a must-have multifunction creative gadget, perfect for every workspace.
It has a ruler, level, screw bit, ballpoint pen, and a stylus for touchscreen devices.
5 functional tools, all in one convenient place. A must-have for any creator.
From concept to creation, the Pen Tool Pro is your versatile companion, simplifying your workflow, putting the focus on what truly matters, your creativity. Scan the code to order the Pen Tool Pro while supplies last.
Scan the code on your screen right now to get your free offer from AutoVac, the handheld vacuum for cars and trucks. Keeping your vehicle's interior clean can be such a hassle. Big vacuums on wheels are impossible to use for quick jobs, and professional detailing is time-consuming and expensive. But now, there's the AutoVac, the handheld vacuum for cars and trucks that makes vehicle interior. Now, there's the AutoVac, the handheld.
All right, welcome back. We continue our coverage of Helene. Right now, it's still out in the Gulf of Mexico, but it is moving to the north.
And we're just hours away from Helene making landfall, but some communities are already seeing the impacts. Helene's outer bands are already lashing parts of Florida. This is video out of Treasure Island. This is about 40 minutes away from Tampa. You can see the heavy rain turned a street into a river. FEMA debriefed President Joe Biden earlier today and says crews are on the ground.
We have already deployed include 8 search and rescue teams across Florida and Georgia, as well as resources from the Coast Guard, the Department of Defense, to immediately support any life-saving operations as needed.
FEMA workers are preparing for Helene in Montgomery, Alabama as well. This is new video from today showing trucks lined up and ready to go. All right, I'd like to welcome in the chief and Corey Sima.
Yeah, we got the latest track at 5.
Yeah, we do, and the latest numbers, and it's a little bit stronger. There is no real big surprise today, Corey and Tanika and Ben, other than it's taking a little bit longer to really get its act together, but it's happening now. No real change in the path. It's drifted a little bit east.
A little bit of a wobble.
If you're watching elsewhere, you might have heard about some kind of crazy forecasts about how far east this gets. So
what happens with wobbles, though? They come back, right?
They wobble back and forth. That's why they're...
The wobbles.
The wobbles, right?
Are we still looking at a Cat 4 at some point here?
Yeah, it looks like a Cat 4 sooner rather than later, and probably darn close at landfall. What we have to hope for that landfall, for a little bit of help for our residents in the Big Bend, is that there's an eye wall replacement cycle, because this becomes really intense and mature now, and sometimes we'll get a change in the structure like an eye wall replacement cycle, and when that happens, you get a little bit of weakening. That's our best chance for a little bit of weakening, what otherwise is going to be a powerful hurricane at landfall. With that movement to the north-northeast at 23 miles per hour, a very well-developed eye, a lot of really intense storms developing around that eye. We saw on First Alert Doppler HD just a minute ago the lightning in the eye wall, an indication of an intensifying hurricane. So hour by hour, this is Jacksonville, the I-95 corridor, basically east of Highway 301. So Duval, Nassau, Clay, St. Johns, Putnam counties in Florida, Camden and Glynn County in Georgia. The peak winds, tornadoes, and rain bands are roughly 9 tonight to 3 in the morning. Now, that doesn't mean that's the only time, because we have a band headed northbound that's heavy now, but it becomes more widespread, more intense in that period, unfortunately, under the cover of darkness. Storm surge, while there'll be some, is not a great concern. There'll be some flooding, but it too is not a great concern because this is not a big rainstorm. For Lake City, and then this would also include north from there to Waycross to Blackshear, as far east as about Olustee, extreme western Baker County, as far south as Rayford in Union County. Well, you see a lot more color. We've upped the ante here, as expected, because you're closer to the eye here. So much more profound impacts from wind, flooding, tornado, and power outages, all for Columbia County, Ware County, and nearby areas on up into Pierce County, and then Clinch County in Georgia, and then southward to Lake City, and from west of there, some really intense impacts. Tornado watch remains in effect for the entire area. It means conditions are favorable for tornadoes and waterspouts. A warning means you need to take action. And we are carefully tracking this heavy band of showers and storms that arcs from about Stark right down into southern St. Johns County, moving really fast to the north-northwest at a good 40 miles per hour into Lake Butler soon. Sanderson at 5:33, McClenny at 5:40, and downtown Jacksonville already at 5:44. more. Some wind with this, very heavy rain, and the potential for an isolated quick tornado into St. Augustine Shores at 519, Crescent Beach 521, St. Augustine 532, Volano Beach at 538, heads up Nocatee by about 549. And there's that eye with that burst of lightning, classic intensifying cycle when you get that lightning in the eye wall. Corey?
Yeah, Mike, we have seen relatively rough conditions out at our coast through the day today. We have had generally a south to easterly wind, and it looks like a washing machine out there. Even the camera is kind of blowing side to side right now. And there are a few folks out there along the sandy areas. The best advice is to stay out of the water. We have a very high risk for rip currents. That'll be the case through the day today. Tomorrow, we have an offshore wind that'll clean up the surf a little, but it'll still be rough out there with high seas. Hour by hour, this is really important with the forecast and timing out these bands of showers, thunderstorms, and even the potential for tornadoes. You see by 8 p.m., there's a band of rain to the south and west of Jacksonville. These showers could also be tornado producers. And then there's another band by 11 o'clock to midnight tonight, including I-95 and the beaches. Then we're talking about potentially the eye wall just to the west of Lake City. By just a matter of miles, there could be tornado spin-ups here as well from Lake City up to Waycross and Valdosta. And then, yeah, there's that other band by midnight approaching Highway 301 and I-95 even through 2 to 3 o'clock this morning. You got to make sure you have a way to receive severe weather information even into early tomorrow morning. And then it's done. We flip the switch, and we're gonna see things clear out. It looks like before sunrise tomorrow, there will still be a few clouds around. County by county, we'll start in Duval. That surge, not only along the coast, but also the river, around 1 to 3 feet. Winds will be 30 to 40, gusts to 50, around 1 to 2 inches of rain. And of course, a few isolated tornadoes. And for St. Johns County, that surge is 1 to 2 feet, plus 30 to 40 mile per hour winds, gusts to 50 with 1 to 2 inches of rain and isolated tornadoes. We'll have more of those counties here over the next hour or two, Mike.
And a quick live shot here from Naples, too, where we're starting to see, Corey, some of those bands making on the coast of Florida and very close. We've had some tornado warnings in this area. People are on the pier, and of course, people are in the water, but rough seas and surf doesn't look dissimilar from what we're having right here at home. But Corey mentioned the clearing skies for tomorrow. It's great news in our first alert 7-day forecast. Your Friday is not bad for any cleanup that might have to be done. It will be pretty hot, around 90, but a refreshing breeze, lower humidity. Weekend's always in view in the first alert 7-day forecast. A brief shower or two, but plenty of sun and dry hours in the upper 80s. Stays pretty toasty during the day right into next week, but cooler nighttime lows will be a little more pleasant. All of your latest First Alert weather at ActionNewsJax.com. Remember, download for free that First Alert weather app. You'll immediately get tornado warnings when and if they're issued.
Our Helene coverage continues. Coming up, we're going to take you live from Tallahassee as the weather there starts to ramp up as we get into the evening hours.
And speaking of weather ramping up, this is a live look at the Franklin Howard Bridge in Tampa. Wow, you can see some of the waves hitting the road there. The camera's bumping around. Yeah, they finally, right, cars were on that about an hour ago. That's right, Tanika, and you see finally police have shut it down, so no one's going across that. We'll keep you posted on air and online in a moment.
Action News.
My reason why is the before work hustle and after school home, a section of my block, a corner to call my own. Here, I stand strong. It's a million faces in a mirror and everyone belongs. Join today and find your why for a better us.
You've been hurt in an accident. You've lost pay and now the medical bills are piling up. When there isn't much insurance, some attorneys will pay your bills, take their fee, leaving you with almost nothing, even less than them. Not Harold & Harold. We'll work hard to reduce your medical bills, and we promise our fee will never be more than you take home. Can your lawyer promise you the same thing? Harold & Harold. Call 251-1111. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
With drawings held twice a day, every day for exciting cash prizes. Pick games, pick winners by the bunch. Pick daily games from the Florida Lottery.
Progress. It's something so many of us get out of bed each morning fighting for. Especially those who have served our country.
Nice to meet you.
That's why at Progressive, we give vehicles to veterans annually, giving them more access to better opportunities and the freedom to keep moving forward in life after their service. Because those who protect us deserve to be protected too.
I, Megan, pledged to make myself a delicious grilled chicken Cobb salad for lunch today, even though I honked at a bunch of ducks on my way home from the store.
Come on!
Is that a misdemeanor? Delicious chicken you may or may not deserve. I, Megan, pledged to make myself a delicious grilled chicken Cobb salad for lunch today, even though I honked at a bunch of ducks on my way home from the store.
Come on!
Is that a misdemeanor? Delicious chicken you may or may not deserve. I, Megan, pledged to make myself a delicious grilled chicken Cobb salad for lunch today, even though I honked at a bunch of ducks on my way home from the store.
Come on!
Is that a misdemeanor? Delicious chicken you may or may not deserve.
Stay tuned for a special free offer from Flash Force Tactical Flashlight. With its powerful telescopic zoom, the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight gives you a super bright light visible at a distance.
It's temporarily suspended. That's good news. And the downtown Customer Solutions Center is also closed. That's bad news. JEA says if you need any help regarding your account, to use the digital self-service online portal. It also has not announced when the downtown center will reopen. A state of emergency is now in effect for all 159 Florida counties. Governor Brian Kemp visited the State Operations Center in Atlanta, detailing statewide storm preps. You can see here a hole that opened up this morning in DeKalb County. It's after severe storms moved through last night. Kemp is asking everyone to stay off the roads if possible, with Helene on the way.
Please try to stay home. So we're going to have a lot of people that we need to get moving to get the roads clear. And if there are people in our way, that's just going to slow down our progress.
Already today, crews in Atlanta received calls for fallen trees and down lines like these. Take a look. More power outages are expected overnight. And our coverage of Helene continues after the break. We'll take you to Jack's Beach with Action News Jack's Nicholas Brooks.
And I'm Action News Jack's Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish, alongside with Corey Sima here in the First Alert Weather Center, likely through the rest of the night. As bands of intense storms, this is our next area of concern. Storms that are arcing from the coast near Daytona Beach right up into St. Johns County and then to about Stark and Rayford, headed north-northwest quickly, may produce an isolated tornado, certainly a burst of winds, and this is just the beginning of the impacts from Helene.
Is your air conditioner ready for summer? Call Lickety Split to schedule a complete AC tune-up for only $49. When you want it done right, and you need it done right now, it's Lickety Split. For quality and care, call the hair.
Hey! Where'd you get that big one?
This big one? At Larry's Giant Subs.
If you really cared about me, we'd be eating Larry's Giant Subs!
At Larry's Giant Subs, you'll get the highest quality deli meat sliced daily. For the one you love, don't assume any old sub will do. Larry's Giant Subs!
Hey! Where'd you get that big one?
This big one? At Larry's Giant Subs.
If you really cared about me, we'd be eating Larry's Giant Subs!
At Larry's Giant Subs, you'll get the highest quality deli meat sliced daily. For the one you love, don't assume any old sub will do.
Matt needed to borrow some money. That Matt chose a personal loan, and this Matt chose a home equity line of credit. With his HELOC from Figure, this Matt got a lower monthly payment, and that Matt doesn't want to tell you what his payment is. That Matt could only borrow $100K and could just remodel part of his home. But this Matt borrowed $400K and made his dream home come to life, plus other amazing benefits. Don't be that Matt. Be this Matt. Figure Home Equity Line. Faster than a bank loan, cheaper than a personal loan. Matt needed to borrow some money. That Matt chose a personal loan, and this Matt chose a home equity line of credit. With his HELOC from Figure, this Matt got a lower monthly payment, and that Matt doesn't want to tell you what his payment is. That Matt could only borrow $100K and could just remodel part of his home. But this Matt borrowed $400K and made his dream home come to life, plus other amazing benefits. Don't be that Matt. Be this Matt. Figure Home Equity Line. Faster than a bank loan, cheaper than a personal loan.
Stay tuned for a special free offer from Flash Force Tactical Flashlight. With its powerful telescopic zoom, the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight gives you a super bright light visible at a distance of over 2,000 meters. With 7 useful modes, plus a USB rechargeable battery, the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight is always ready to light up the night. And if you scan the code on your screen and order right now, we'll send you a second Flash Force Tactical Flashlight absolutely free. Hurry, this is a limited time offer. Scan the code on your screen to order now.
Say hello to the Cobb Gobbler.
Get the back.
From Action News Jax and First Alert Weather, this is continuing coverage of Helene.
Right now, Helene gradually picking up forward speed for landfall later tonight. But we're already seeing some of its impacts in certain parts of Florida.
And it's expected to only pick up. Let's get over to the chief, Mike Bursch. Mike, is it fair to say this is going to be more of a wind event than a rain event?
Oh, no doubt. That's right on. This is not a wet storm. Now, there are certainly bursts of rain. We're seeing that work up from the south right now, and there will be heavy periods of rain. But the rainfall totals are not going to be excessive for a storm like this. In fact, some of the afternoon storms the first couple of weeks of September, when it was so wet, will have, in the end, dumped more rain, especially the closer you get to Jacksonville. More west, where you're closer to the eye, the amounts will be a little bit greater. But the winds will be something to deal with a little bit later this evening and overnight, even though so far it has been relatively tame, unless you happen to get one of these bands to move through, which is now working its way north-northwest. Look how fast that's moving. So you don't get much warning when these skies open up and you get the heavy rain, the wind, and a possible isolated tornado with any of these, although we're not indicating that kind of rotation at this moment. Into McClenny at 5:35, Baldwin, western Duval County at 5:36, Bryceville at 5:46, Verde at 5:52, and Callahan into Yulee County, Nassau County, excuse me, in western Nassau County a little bit after 6 p.m. And then the eastern edge of this line is moving up through St. Johns County, St. Augustine at 5:30 straight up, Fruit Cove at 5:41, into Nocatee at 5:45, Bay Meadows at 5:54, moving into southern Duval County, and downtown Jacksonville at roughly about 6:07. And then there are other cells that extend even offshore. We have once in a while seen a little bit of lightning. Again, a quick spin up of rotation. I'm especially concerned about the one there in southern St. Johns County is not out of the question. Meanwhile, the bands that are directly associated with Helene, and there you can see the eye, are moving ashore now on the west coast of Florida. Tampa's getting hammered now with continuous, very heavy rain bands. There are numerous tornado warnings here. And look at the lightning in the eye wall of Helene, some 243 miles away from downtown Jacksonville, but obviously much closer to Tampa. And that lightning is an indication of an intensifying hurricane. This is becoming a really powerful hurricane. I mean, it is already, but it's even becoming more so as the eye continues to close off. What we have to hope for now is that there's an eye wall replacement cycle, which is possible with the more intense hurricanes and well-developed hurricanes between now and landfall, because that would take it off its peak a little bit. But that eye is just 116 miles offshore, 116 miles west, due west of Tampa. And with that rotation, and we do have a tornado warning now for St. Johns County, so we'll stay on the air constantly with Corey to update you on this tornado warning. This is that cell I just told you, what was it, a minute ago, that cell was concerning to me. And here we go. A tornado warning is issued now for western and southwestern portions of St. Johns County, probably till 6 o'clock or only 5:45. Okay, good. It's moving very fast, so that's a good call. Moving very quickly to the north-northwest. We will be simulcasting now on 104.5 WOKV when a tornado warning is in effect for Jacksonville and northeastern Florida. We will join forces with WOKV radio at 104.5. And so for radio listeners, this is just a little west of I-95. And technically, the tornado warning does not include I-95, even though there's some heavy rain moving along I-95. The circulation is on the southern end of this cell. That looks to be very close to Elkton, maybe a little east of Hastings. Corey, let's zoom in there a little bit more. We'll take a look at this and then time it. There's Highway 206, and there's Elkton. So Elkton's in the tornado warning. Let's go ahead and track it now and take that circulation going north to west. Is it at 50? Corey, what are we calling that?
45.
45.
National Weather Service saying 45.
Good, excellent. 45 miles per hour. So moving north-northwest at 45 miles per hour. That's the circulation now. Into Southwoods Elementary School neighborhood at 5:38. Into Elkton or very near there at 5:42. Zion Hill Church neighborhood at 5:49. And Molasses Junction, tiny little community, a little bit later than that. And that is a pretty strong indication of a circulation now, Corey, sitting right on Highway 13 here in southern St. Johns County, where it kind of bends to the east-southeast from Hastings here. And then Highway 206 would be in line for this possible tornado. Now, this is a radar-indicated tornado. And in this situation, that means we see rotation in the sky at cloud level. It's rotating counterclockwise right here. We have not confirmed a tornado, but it means that there may be one on the ground. So if you're living close to here and you say, I don't see a tornado at all, well, it's a radar indicated at this point, but it means one could form very quickly, or one could actually be on the ground, Corey, as this moves north-northwest. You were getting some pretty impressive wind values there just in the last few seconds.
I wanted to point that out, Mike. So you see all of the blue coloring. We have the blues and the greens. Whenever we talk about tornadoes or rotation or circulation, we're looking for red and green to be really close together. So this is the scale right here, right underneath the big tornado warning words. Oh, the wind toward the radar, we're looking at the direction of the wind. Wind toward the radar is the green to the blue, and away from the radar is the red to, say, the pink or yellow. The radar beam, it goes up with distance as we move away from the radar site, which is up at Jacksonville International Airport. The radar beam points up. That being said, usually the wind speeds increase the higher up you go. But this is pretty impressive, Mike, for even southern St. Johns County. The radar beam is a decent distance up high. But we also have the blue even up into St. Augustine. There's St. Augustine right there. So it's windy. It's windy, you know, just to start, even all the way up into St. Augustine. Then we talk about the circulation itself, which by this point is probably approaching 206. The radar beam, it takes time to go around, and we don't get that new radar information until that happens. So, and there it is. Okay, so
yeah, there's a nice call. Yeah, good
new radar data right here. We still have the blues, Mike. These could be potentially damaging winds, even if there isn't a tornado.
Yeah, right. The sustained winds away from Helene and with just the environment that we have are solid 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts at 40 to 45 at times already this afternoon. So yeah, a wind gust here of 60, 70 miles per hour is quite conceivable even if there's not a tornado on the ground. So now that we have an updated radar shot and the circulation is approaching 210, here's the updated arrival times. Bethune-Cookman College Extension neighborhood there at about 5:36, Spuds at 5:36, Elkton at about 5:39, and Molasses Junction 5:47, Zion Hill Church neighborhood at about 5:47. So this will be crossing highway, it's right at about 210. This is highway 207 that extends
206.
206, that's right, 206, not quite to 207, 206, that then goes right to I-95, and then next to the north of from there would be Highway 207, and then you've got I-95 and Highway 16, but technically that is not in the tornado warning. That would be the outlet malls, the World Golf Village. That is still south of you, but heads up in that area, because if this circulation continues or becomes even stronger, that tornado warning would have to be extended, and you would be next in line just a little bit north of this along Highway 16, the World Golf Village, and nearby spots, Corey.
There are a lot of new neighborhoods up here, Mike, as well. South of State Road 16. There are about 3 or 4 of them just west of the outlet malls. I've been on that road several times. I'm not really familiar with all of them. Between Mirabella, World Golf Village, and the outlet malls. You're not in the tornado warning now. If you live off of State Road 16, just west of I-95, you're not in the tornado warning. Elkton, you are. Hastings, you are as well. It looks like the circulation is going to pass to your east, those of you in Hastings, but Elkton, this is going to pass very close to you, if not right over you. We do not have confirmation of a tornado. This is near State Road 206, approaching 207. This is moving very quickly, almost 50 miles per hour to the north and northwest. Downtown St. Augustine, even out to I-95. If you live east of I-95, in what is considered now St. Augustine, there's just a sliver of that in the tornado warning, Mike.
Yeah, I just was on the First Alert Storm analyst in the office there, Corey, looking at the CCs. So let's take a quick look. Let's just switch it over. And it looks, I'm not seeing anything that would indicate debris at this point. We'll explain this here in just a second. But it gets a little bit muddled. There it is, nice. And so here's the tornado warning. And again, just south of Armstrong, southwest of Vermont Heights. and just a little bit east-southeast of Hastings. Looks like this goes just east of Hastings, and it'll move north-northwest. But these are what we call the CCs, or it's debris, Corey. And when you see bright colors pop up or a real change in color, that's an indication that we're seeing something being lofted into the atmosphere other than what else is around it. It's odd shapes. It can be big shapes. In other words, implying that something is being damaged by like a tornado. Not really seeing it in this particular radar imagery. It looks more like maybe strong winds, but not so much a debris ball. Agree?
Oh, for sure. Totally agree. It looks a little suspicious there on the southern edge.
No doubt.
This is reflectivity. That's what we call that. And that indicates where the rain is, potentially even maybe some hail. But those droplets, they have velocity, they have size, everything that the Doppler radar, First Alert Doppler HD, can actually detect. So it's one of the many tools that we have. I'm going to go back to the normal view here, and we'll zoom back in here as we let me get situated here, Mike.
So what we're going to do here is, as we zoom in, as Corey zooms in, he's showing you just how quickly, and we have had a couple of lightning strikes, is moving north-northwest very quickly, as we've been mentioning, 45 to 50 miles per hour. And that's going to be the problem this evening and overnight. There'll be additional tornado warnings, additional bands. They'll become more frequent, more intense as Helene makes landfall and then moves to just west of Lake City. And you'll have very little advance notice that there's a tornado coming in, because you're not going to get hail in a tropical situation. You will quickly lose power. You hear a loud roar, and you're down to possibly just seconds before you need to take cover, certainly not much more than a minute or so, as the circulation now heads into Elkton at any time. Let's see, 539, and that's what right now. Molasses Junction neighborhood, 546. Bakersville at about 551 into Murrabella, and that's one of those newer neighborhoods that Corey was talking about when you get closer to the World Gulf Village at about 556, and then the World Gulf Village at 559. However, realize we have pulled that further north than the actual tornado warning is in effect for right now. But that means the World Gulf Village should be on alert by 6 o'clock, at least strong winds and a possible rotating storm here that could at any time produce a tornado. We're now in street level mapping. Burt Floyd Road comes in. This is a highly rural area, but again, there are subdivisions interspersed here. This is an area where there's a lot of farming as well. And then it looks like State Road 13A South comes into view, and the circulation is going to get awfully close to Elkton, if not into Elkton, to the immediate west.
Looks like it's intensifying a little.
It does appear to be intensifying somewhat here, Corey, and it will continue to move very rapidly north and northwest bound. So I would say heads up, World Gulf Village, Murrabella, and nearby spots, even though technically right now you are not yet in a tornado warning, Corey.
Yeah, and Mike, I think at the very least, those of you in Elkton, you have to prepare for potentially damaging winds. That is the bright blue coloring that we have here on First Alert Doppler HD. Rather, the bright blue going to the darker blue. It's next to the green here. That's the circulation right here. Instead of the green going to the red, in these tropical setups, you don't need the green and the red. Sometimes you just need green and then darker green. Or in this case, we have the light blue to the dark blue, and then the green right here. So Burt Floyd Road, you have some of the lighter winds on the backside of the circulation right there, and then over toward Hastings as well. Hastings, you are not in the tornado warning any longer. And but Elkton, you still are. Don't let your guard down, those of you in Elkton or either side of Elkton by just a few miles. This is moving very quickly. Mike mentioned it. It is hard to see, or it's going to be hard to see. And with the new radar data, Mike, you see the bloom of the velocity or the wind right now is over Elkton.
Yeah, folks in Elkton should be taking shelter immediately, as we've been talking about, even as Corey mentioned, if there's not a tornado on the ground, very strong winds here that could do damage like that of a tornado. And this is this CCs?
We're back to the debris tracker.
Okay.
We have some of those lighter colors.
Yeah.
We have the dark purple, and those are all particles that are the same, like raindrops. That's what we're looking at when we look at the debris tracker. Then we get into these little pixels here, and that's a little suspicious. Whenever we go from the purple to more of the yellow, or certainly the blue, if there is a donut hole, if there's a circle that ever appears on the map when we're looking at this, you can't say 100% looking at radar, there's a tornado on the ground. If we ever get a circle, that's about 99.9% of likelihood or confidence that there's a tornado on the ground. So there may be some debris that First Alert Doppler HD is detecting, Mike, as the circulation. By this point, it's going to be north of Elkton. Now we're talking County Road 214, County Road 208, and then eventually 16, State Road 16.
Yeah, so it's continuing north-northwest very quickly, 50 miles per hour. Southern end of the cell is the one that we're worried about that is rotating and may contain a tornado. We don't have confirmation of that. This is what has triggered the tornado warning, is a circulation that now is very near and just has extended the tornado warning now to 6 o'clock this evening. Has just come down, so we'll be staying on constantly for you again until 6 p.m.
It includes World Golf Village.
And does include the World Golf Village. We gave you the heads up on that a few minutes ago, so no real surprise. Again, we are simulcasting on 104.5 WOKV during tornado warnings, and so people driving on I-95 now, south of Jacksonville, you might want to think twice. And you only need to give yourself 5 to 10 minutes because this thing is screaming to the northwest. But I wouldn't recommend traveling on I-95 through St. Johns County now. Anywhere from that World Golf Village interchange to Highway 16, the outlet malls, not a good place to be right now in a vehicle. They become little toys tossed around in a tornado. That circulation does appear to be at least maintaining itself, if not becoming a little bit stronger. Corey's putting the timing on this now. Back into view, Molasses Junction at 5:48, Bakersville at 5:53, into Mirabella, 5:58, Mill Creek School neighborhood at 5:59, and there's the World Golf Village. Couple minutes later than we pegged it at just a minute ago, but 6:02, still in the vicinity of 6 o'clock. Realize this is a fast-moving storm, fast-moving tornadoes. You will not have much advance notice. Power goes out, you hear a loud roar, you've got seconds to react. In Florida, no basements, so the lowest floor of the building that you are in, protecting your head and face from any debris, making sure that it's covered. Maybe a pillow, a blanket offers good protection. Make sure you have everybody in the family gathered around and calm, and you'll get through this storm just fine. But that one in St. Johns County continues to show indications of rotation, so the tornado warning has been extended northward just east of the St. Johns River and very near I-95 by the time you get to the World Golf Village. You, of course, also have now on that intersection of I-95 and International Golf Parkway, that interchange, you now have such a busy area there. Besides the neighborhoods of the World Golf Village, you've got Buc-ee's, you've got a Costco there now, you've got some of the outlet malls there still on the west side of the interstate, and that's where the tornado warning extends now as far north as this moves north-northwest at 45 to 50 miles per hour, but staying inland from St. Augustine. This does not include St. Augustine, and this particular cell will stay to the west of St. Augustine. We're tracking for our radio listeners a possible tornado just west of I-95 in St. Johns County, moving north-northwest toward the World Golf Village. Anybody in and around the World Golf Village should be taking their tornado precautions. Again, lowest part of the building that you're in, away from windows, protecting your head and face, preferably a bathroom or at least an interior hallway or closet offers a little bit better protection. Get out of mobile homes and do not get into an automobile if you're under this tornado warning, where you see this red area from the World Golf Village extending southward to just a little bit north of Elkton. As this circulation heads north-northwest, Corey at 45 to 50 miles per hour, just the beginning of a long night, because storms should become even more numerous in these bands as Helene makes landfall later this evening and overnight.
Yeah, and Mike, we have, these are fast-moving bursts of heavy rain, occasionally some lightning here and there. It is starting to rain, or it has begun raining over State Road 16 for a while now. That's not the potentially tornadic part of it. So some of these new neighborhoods here along 16, and especially to the south, we're talking Windward Ranch, Grand Oaks. This is west of the outlet malls and west of I-95. There are a lot of new neighborhoods that are not on our actual satellite or street data, our maps here in the First Alert Weather Center. That's how new they are. Along State Road 16, you are now in the tornado warning. This is the circulation right here. It's still back to the north and west of Elkton only by a few miles. It's west of I-95. Mike said it, though. It's probably not a good idea to get on I-95, at least over the next half hour, as this thing pushes up toward the World Golf Village. Part of I-95 is in the tornado warning, basically International Golf Parkway to almost down to State Road 16, so that's mile marker 323, and then to the south there, not quite to State Road 16, but anyway, The rain is very heavy. I'm going to switch back to radar, at least what we usually look at when we track rain and thunderstorms. And okay, yeah, there's very heavy rain over I-95 at International Golf Parkway and then just south of there, but it lets up over State Road 16. Then we get back to the potentially tornadic part of this cell. There actually isn't any lightning with it. It's not even a storm, but it's still well back to the south of State Road 16. It's pretty close to halfway between State Road 13 and I-95, Mike.
And shrouded in rain. You mentioned how much rain there is there. You would not be able to see this tornado visually very well, certainly from the north, because you'd be looking through all this rain. So if you're in the World Gulf Village, it's pouring right now. You won't be able to see much at all. And in fact, the circulation is still between 5 and 10 miles south-southwest of the World Gulf Village anyway. But if you live across the St. Johns River or near the St. Johns River to the west, you might have an eye on this thing. Sitting north of Elkton now, getting ready to cross County Road 214, checking my phone for updates here because I'm getting some texts. And remember, you can get the First Alert Weather app on your phone. You'll get these warnings immediately, and then tune us in, and we'll track it for you street by street and minute by minute, streaming it as well. So we're getting all kinds of platforms available for you as we continue to constantly track the heavy rain and storms and the tornado threat. Corey, I think you've got a picture here or some video or camera.
So we do have the First Alert Traffic Camera Network, I-95 at International Golf Parkway. Control room, can you throw that up behind me?
Pouring, I believe, right?
It is pouring right now. So this isn't the potentially tornadic part of this cell, but there's torrential rain. The camera's kind of wobbling up and down as well. So it is windy. We have very heavy rain. You can see the car headlights are on. Traffic looks maybe a little slower to me. You know, not for sure on that. Probably the safe thing to do. There's the mile marker 323 at IGP. Torrential rain. And then farther to the south is the potentially tornadic part of this cell. We don't have a lot of information coming in from the National Weather Service. They issued that new tornado warning a few minutes ago. We've been tracking it since the initial tornado warning south of Elkton. County Road 214, County Road 208, Passetti Road, Murabella. These are the roads and then the neighborhoods up toward International Golf Parkway. You're in the potential path of this tornado. We do not have confirmed that there is a tornado. The velocities, or at least the indications, have been pretty good. Now, we don't know for sure. If you live down here, first you need to be safe. You need to seek shelter in an interior closet or bathroom. If you are able to take pictures, we would certainly love to see them, but we want you to do that in a safe manner. It looks like the warning box is flashing because the National Weather Service is continuing the tornado warning. So they basically just shaved the box down from County Road 208, County Road 208, 214, State Road 16, State Road 13, where it intersects with 16, World Golf Village, Murabella, a lot of new neighborhoods here just west of I-95 and south of State Road 16. You are in the potential path, or you are in the path of this potential tornado, Mike.
Continuing to move quickly to the north and to the northwest, we're getting, as you mentioned, some blinding rain as this storm moves in. And at the very least, strong wind gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour, but maybe gusts 60 miles per hour or higher. And Corey was mentioning that we don't have a confirmed tornado on the ground. What's happened here is that we have a radar-indicated tornado, a circulation in the clouds that oftentimes precedes the development of a tornado, and that's why the tornado warning has been triggered twice now. One for southern St. Johns County, and as this has raced north-northwest, now another one for central portions of St. Johns County that goes as far north as the World Gulf Village. And now Corey is putting on here the wind velocities, and we still have a signature here of at least rotation. At the very least, just east of the St. Johns River, about 15 miles southeast, 20 miles southeast of Green Cove Springs, but not too far southwest of the World Gulf Village, maybe about 10 miles, moving north-northwest at 50 miles per hour. Might be a little more north, about right there, I'd say, Corey, maybe. And this is your arrival times for the circulation. And if it's not a tornado, you may still have damaging winds, which could down power lines and trees. Murabella at 556. There's Silverleaf comes into view now at 602. White's Ford, tiny little unincorporated community, at about 603. Creekside High School neighborhood, 608, populated area. Durbin, populated area again, 608. That would be that's a little bit north of the actual warning now. So we've gone even a little bit more north, but it won't be long, probably about 5:53 now. In 5 minutes, that circulation will be near the World Golf Village and ready to exit the tornado warning, Corey.
Yeah, and Mike, I think it stays just a little west of World Golf Village. I think is not good enough. If you're in World Golf Village, you need to be in your place of safety. West of World Golf Village, down to Mirabella. That's another area that is exploding with a lot of new neighborhoods. We're talking Trailmark, south of Mirabella, Passetti Road. You are under this tornado warning. We have what would be the circulation right there. There could also be, though, some damaging wind gusts. Mike mentioned it, especially on the eastern side of this, where you see the brighter blue up and down I-95, in addition to the torrential rain, almost blinding rain. We had a look at that on the First Alert traffic camera network, and it looks like it's let up just a little bit. Can we go back to the traffic camera network control room, and we can take a look at that? It looked like it's cleared up a little bit. The roadways are still very wet. You can see the spray of water coming up from the cars, the lights reflecting in the road there. So yeah, this is a lot of heavy rain, especially along and west of I-95 in St. Johns County, but these showers are starting to spread up into Duval. There's not a tornado warning for Duval County at this time. Neither is there a tornado warning in effect for spots like Durbin or Creekside High School. But if this thing hangs together, which it has for 10 to 20 minutes now, right, Mike? We'll have to wait and see, but we may see the tornado warning extended up into north central St. Johns County. And so we're talking County Road 210 and then Durbin. We aren't talking Duval County yet. Duval, keep an eye out. Mandarin, you're not under a tornado warning. There are showers, though, that are lifting up, especially into western Duval right now, and we got to watch this very carefully, Mike.
And let's go ahead and, while these are the wind velocities, it looks like the circulation perhaps is trying to weaken a bit, but is still evident. Let's go ahead and put the CCs on here, the debris tracker. Corey, I wasn't seeing anything when I snuck into the weather office behind you here in just the last minute or so.
Suspicious,
that's
hard
too far.
to tell.
That's too far north, though, I believe. That little. So let's go back here. Corey's putting this into motion, and this is what we kind of look for a tornado.
I think that's fake.
I think it's fake. I think it's bad data. So because what we're looking at is down about right in here, west of I-95, south of the World Golf Village, or it could be part of the leading edge of that heavy shower that's moving north ahead of this main storm that's triggered the tornado warning. And so, there's an extension of the tornado warning. So there we go. That goes up to the Duval County line. So not giving up on this yet. This will go until 6:15 this evening. And
Fruit Cove,
Julington Creek,
Durbin.
The rest stop at I-95 there near the Duval St. Johns County line for our WOKV listeners. Again, 104.5 WOKV simulcasting with us during tornado warnings. And so people, we said it in a few minutes ago and probably should reemphasize it. We would recommend you do not travel on I-95 right now from about, south of the World Golf Village exit, south of Highway 16, about the 16 I-95 interchange, maybe even a little south of there, northward to the World Golf Village International Parkway, northward all the way to the rest stop on I-95 at Duval, St. Johns County line. We would recommend just give it some minutes. Not a long time. It's moving 50 miles per hour. So if you're in a hurry to get somewhere, just give yourself 5 to 10 minutes. It's safer. The vehicles are just fodder for tornadoes. They will easily destroy vehicles and take them off the highways and make for a much rougher day than you were hoping for. So if you just give it 5 to 10 minutes, you'll be able to get back on the road and be okay. This possible tornado now immediately southwest of the World Golf Village. Corey mentioned a minute ago, it would appear that this is moving just a little west of the World Golf Village, but it's close, and the World Golf Village is included in the tornado warning. We'd like you to be taking tornado precautions, which means the lowest part of the building that you are in, away from any and all windows, covering your head and face from any debris that might occur with the tornado, possible tornado, and at the very least, strong winds. and get out of mobile homes and do not get into an automobile. Make sure everybody's comfortable and safe inside. Talk to your kids, make them comfortable, realize that this is a tornado warning, but you take the safety precautions, you'll be okay and come out of this and it'll be all right. You don't want any panic, in other words. And here are some of those tips or things that you should do during a tornado. Know where your safe place is. Be prepared to get there. In this case, you got to be acting quickly. In tropical tornadoes, they move fast. You'll hear a loud roar. The power may go out, and at that point, you have just seconds to act and react. Staying away from windows, protecting the head and face, as I mentioned. Don't stay in a mobile home, get out, and of course keep here with our updates. Now, you had just tracked that circulation, Corey, north-northwest. Let's take a look at the arrival times of that circulation. There are other heavy showers and storms within this band, by the way, that arc up right up through Duval and Baker County. Any of these could start to rotate at any time, too, but this is the one that's been giving us the most concern. It's moving to the immediate west-southwest of the World Gulf Village, very near Mirabella now, headed into Silverleaf, and then into northern portions of Duval County. The circulation, there it is, now at about, that's Highway 16
and 13.
And 13, that's right, yeah, 16 and 13, just west of the World Gulf Village, a little bit west-northwest of the outlet malls, and that'll head north-northwest now. Corey, putting the arrival times of this possible tornado, but definitely a circulation here into Elwood at 5:59, Silverleaf at 6:01, Creekside High School neighborhood at 6:07, Durbin at 6:07. Of course, an area that has so much more development in the last 10 years than it's ever had. Julington Creek at about 6:09. So moving into highly populated areas now. It is not a tornado on the ground. We had this with Debbie back in early August, where you have tornadoes indicated on radar. Sometimes they touch the ground in the end, sometimes they do not. But once a tornado warning is issued, we stay on the air unless that danger has passed. You're looking here toward that cell from Orange Park on our First Alert Skycam network. This is looking toward the southeast, so the wind is blowing into the camera around that circulation of Helene. It's coming out of the southeast here across the St. Johns River. Now, this is quite a long ways away, this possible tornado at this point, so we're not going to see the tornado, but you can see some of the rain that has already occurred with the raindrops on the lens from the Skycam here at this location along the St. Johns River. And we'll keep an eye on that camera because this storm will be getting closer. And there you can see the storms arcing all the way into northern parts of Columbia County with a good deal of lightning and heavy rain. We'll have to watch those for a circulation too. And then another storm has come up and is approaching St. Augustine. And that one has got kind of a suspicious look to it as well, and may also have a little bit of a circulation that we're going to want to watch. Heads up St. Augustine. I don't like the looks of that one, Corey. And there is a lightning strike with our tornadic thunderstorm now that's moving through northern portions of St. Johns County, moving north-northwest at 45 to 50 miles per hour. Be prepared for very fast movement as these storms move to the north-northwest. Producer, just telling my ear on I-95 and Highway 16, was that?
Yes.
And what is it exactly? A roof on a tractor trailer been ripped off. Okay, good shot here. Unfortunate for the semi. Now, we don't know what caused this. Can't tell if it was an accident or if it was wind. I'm sorry, again, producers, the location, is it Anne Marie?
State Road 16. It is Anne Marie.
Control room now. State Highway 16 and I-95.
Yes.
So the exact area that we've been tracking for the last 10 to 15 minutes and have been timing to. It's a good question. Our director's asking, is this part of the ripped off trailer scorched, as in burned, or is it just dirty? And burned would, of course, imply that something else happened here. But something obviously has happened here at Highway 16 and I-95. We see another truck that stopped there, and I believe it was the driver of that truck that ran across, probably to check on the driver of this particular semi. So traffic seems to not be impeded a great deal here. There's the exit ramp, and they can get through, and the traffic that's going here by the incident is flowing and moving right along. Let's just hope the driver's okay, but we do have some damage here to a semi from something. We just don't know exactly what it was, but this circulation did move very near that area, Corey.
Yeah, a couple of things, Mike. One, the tornado warning has been canceled. The National Weather Service has let it go.
Okay.
These things can come up and ramp down very quickly. Also, I think it's fair to point out the circulation that we were tracking, I believe, was mainly to the west of I-95 and State Road 16.
Yep, good point.
Doesn't mean that's not weather related. We don't know yet, but the circulation, if there was a tornado, that was to the west of State Road 16. It was, or west of I-95. That was pretty close to I-95, but I don't think that, I don't think if we had a tornado that it went over I-95, Mike.
And Highway 16 at that interchange. And there may have been high winds at the very least, though, as that cell was moving north-northwestbound. You could have had a burst of winds. We'll continue to track these cells and see what's happening there at Highway 16 and I-95. We also have the cell moving in on St. Augustine. There are no other tornado warnings in effect at the moment, but this cell near St. Augustine certainly bears careful watching and then arcs its way all the way back to Baker County. And a tornado watch is in effect, means that conditions are favorable for severe storms and tornadoes at just about any time. So we'll wrap it up here from the First Alert Weather Center for now, since no tornado warnings are any longer in effect. There's plenty more of at times severe weather to go through this evening and overnight. We'll keep you updated, of course, round the clock.
Tornado warnings, high winds, and heavy rain. Hurricane Helene is carving her path towards Florida right now.
With this storm really hitting primarily into the evening and overnight, we really are going to have to monitor that.
Our storm reporters are in the elements talking to people who are preparing for the worst.
As a hurricane veteran, this is going to be a bad one.
What is your biggest concern?
That the roofs will be blown off.
Our team coverage of Helene continues now with Action News Jax at 6. And Action News Jax is live team coverage for you as we continue to track Helene all across our viewing area. We're in Lake City, Waycross, and here in Jacksonville. But we're going to start things off with the First Alert Weather Team. They were just on air tracking severe weather in St. Johns County.
Yeah, we saw them for the last 20 or 25 minutes or so tell us about that tornado warning in St. John's. That has gone away, fortunately, but we are still monitoring situations all across our viewing area, including Lake City, where people are bracing for Helene. That's where Ben Ryan is now live. Ben, what do you have?
Yeah, Ben, we've been in Lake City for the last hour and a half, 2 hours or so, and honestly, throughout this entire time, we've been just driving around, and we've seen a lot of businesses start to board up their front areas with either just wood pallets or even metal. So take a look off to my left. This is a Winn-Dixie here in the middle of Lake City. You can see it's completely boarded up with the metal going across all the windows and the front doors as well. We also saw a couple different pharmacies that had sandbags at the bottom of their entrances there, too. The First Alert Weather Team telling me that this area will see some significant sustained winds of roughly 50 to 70 miles per hour with gusts at least 75 to 85 miles per hour as the core of Helene moves nearby. So certainly the emergency management, they are aware, they're ready for damage as well, anything that could come from this storm. And I was talking to a neighbor a little bit earlier at a gas station, which was completely packed, by the way. He said he just started preparing for the storm not too long ago. Take a listen.
Storm, getting water, fuel, whatever I can get right now. Everything's closed. Hunker down with the family, man. Get ready, and hopefully everything will be all right.
And he had a case of water with him. He had a little bit of Diet Coke there as well. So he was just ready, like he said, hunkered down with the family. He said where he is specifically, it's a little bit low-lying, so every now and then it does flood. So he's just hoping for the best. Now, the First Alert Weather Team saying that the worst time frame, if you will be roughly 9 p.m. to 3 o'clock in the morning here for Lake City. We're going to be here throughout the night. We'll let you know what happens at 10:11 on Action News Jax. For local coverage, you can count on Ben Ryan, Action News Jax.
All right, our team coverage of Helene takes us now to Waycross. That's where we find Annette Gutierrez live. Annette, this is one area expected to get the brunt of the storm as it heads north.
And Ben, the weather feels pretty nice right now. We have some cloudy skies. It's overcast, but don't let this good weather fool you because it's expecting to receive some of the most significant impacts from this storm, especially from high winds and potential tornadoes. I actually have my little nifty gadget here to kind of see what we're experiencing as far as wind goes. And right now it's around 5 miles per hour. But our First Alert Weather Team says that Waycross could have wind gusts from up to 65 to 75 miles per hour and even 80 miles per hour for some folks. Now, if you take a look behind me, you can actually see that Walmart put up some of their own forms of barriers. It looks like cardboard in front of the glass doors to keep some of that wind shear from going in. And actually across, because this area is shut down, we actually saw some folks across the street over here to Dollar Tree and Five Below to get some last minute items. I spoke with one gentleman who says he's pretty familiar with storms, but he says he needed to get some last minute items to prepare as necessary.
Well, I'm having with batteries, food, water, clothes,
got my bad pipe, car gassed up. Just hoping we be all right, and just hoping the rain don't come and the wind don't come too much.
Are you worried at all about this storm?
Yeah, I'm worried about the storm, but I'm trusting in the good Lord.
And of course, for those who may need shelter, the Waycross Police Department has opened up its courtroom located at 512 Oak Street. It will be open until noon tomorrow. And if you haven't already, officials are advising you to download the city's app and then sign up for the code red notifications. I've actually done that so I can stay up to date for whether there is any tornadoes in our area as they foresee them. And of course, Action News Jax will be here in Waycross up until tomorrow, so stay with us and we'll give you all of the live weather updates. But for now, for local coverage you can count on, reporting live in Waycross, Annette Gutierrez, Action News Jax.
And to give you an idea how serious the situation is in Taylor County, the sheriff's office put out this note saying that they want people who are staying put, this is the Perry area, to put a permanent marker to put their name, birth date, and important information on their body by using permanent marker, just in case something bad was to happen. And Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is holding a news conference right now giving an update on Hurricane Helene. DeSantis warned people about evacuations and how some parts of Florida could still have time to take shelter.
Because the storm isn't going to get here till a little later, we're going to see some effects soon. But right now, you actually still have time to be able to evacuate. If you're here in North Florida, if you're in one of those areas, you see the potential for the storm surge, you still have time to do it. So we would encourage you to heed those evacuation orders as appropriate in your local area.
Team coverage continues now with Action News Jax Emily Turner. She's live in Northwest Jacksonville. And Emily, a tree already down in that area.
Yeah, it actually fell down into a power line. You can see crews working right here behind me. It fell into the power line, which then basically cut power for about 50 customers here in Northwest Jacksonville. The tree itself, I can show you the stump of it. You can see the bottom of it right there. I was told by crews that this tree actually grew into that one right there that's still standing. There's a big hole at the base of it. So they're worried this second oak potentially could then fall into the power line as well, but they've got to fix what's happening right now over here on this side of the road. You can see what's left of the original tree that fell down. They've cut it, gotten it out of the way so that the crews can at least do their work, but they not only have to replace the power line, they have to replace the power pole itself, because when that tree fell down into the line, it broke the power pole. You can kind of see where that bottom cable attaches. Well, that's where the power pole is broken, so they're going to have to replace the entire pole in addition to putting these lines back up. And in the meantime, it happened about 4 o'clock. We have there are about 50 customers, they say, that are without power at this point still. Again, they're going to be working to get this back up and running so that folks here can be with power, and they're also going to be keeping an eye on that tree, hoping that it doesn't fall down. I'm sure this is just going to be the first of many trees that come tumbling down through the night as the winds start to pick up, and we'll be out in the field making sure we bring you the very latest on all of it. Reporting live from Northwest Jacksonville, Emily Turner, Action News Jax.
And we are at least 4 hours away from landfall, and the city's already seeing some water crashing onto sidewalks. Action News Jax Robert Grant is in Riverside, keeping an eye on things there.
Yeah, Tanika, sidewalks and also the roads here. The city says this is really that peak window, and they're going to be paying a close attention for the next couple of hours here as storm surge brings water from the St. Johns River up and over that seawall. Now, to give you a little bit of reference here, we've been watching this for about 3 hours or so now. When we were first here, it was completely dry. Now that water almost entirely covering the road, and you can see just how choppy the St. Johns River is as well, especially with the wind picking up in Riverside. And neighbors around here are taking that threat seriously. From spectators,
it's crazy that it's this rough,
to concerned neighbors.
The water just coming up.
Many eyes are on the St. Johns River, as storm surge could create some issues in neighborhoods like Ortega, Riverside, and San Marco. High tide on the river downtown hits at 6:43, but the impacts could linger. The city is watching a peak from 6 until 8 tonight, then again in the morning. Neighbors are doing the same.
Just getting the cars off the road, trying to get them more on higher ground.
The city says it has swift water rescue teams in place both downtown and over in St. Nicholas if needed. Hundreds of linemen are also on standby with the wind threatening to knock down trees and power lines, something Mayor Donna Deegan says crews will watch for throughout the night.
With this storm really hitting primarily into the evening and overnight, We really are going to have to monitor that.
For some, Jacksonville is a safe place, like hurricane refugee Diane Thompson, who arrived yesterday from her hometown in Tallahassee.
As a hurricane veteran, knowing this is going to be a bad one, and Tallahassee is a city carved out of the forest, and there are so many trees.
Now, I mentioned the wind picking up around here as well. That's really the main concern for the city of Jacksonville. You just saw Emily there with that live shot, the tree down over there. Hundreds of linemen also on standby right now as power outages are expected to happen and continue throughout the night and overnight. For local coverage you can count on in Riverside, I'm Robert Grant, Action News Jax.
I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Really good visualization there with Robert. At high tide downtown now with some heavier rain bands moving through, so causing at least some of that water to spill over the banks into parts of downtown. The winds only get stronger through this evening and overnight, and will continue to track more frequent bands of heavy rain and storms from Helene as we track the hurricane into Florida in your first alert forecast in minutes.
Living in Florida. At CBS 47 Fox 30 Media Partners, home of Action News Jax, our marketing team can grow your business into a powerhouse, like we did for B&B Exterminating.
The first month was like, wow, I can't believe how much more business we've gotten from partnering up with you guys. So it's been super, super profitable for our company.
Our strategy creates ideas, builds brands, drives results. Go to actionnewsjax.com and click on Advertise with us to see how we can grow your business.
Matt needed to borrow some money. That Matt chose a personal loan, and this Matt chose a home equity line of credit. With his HELOC from Figure, this Matt got a lower monthly payment, and that Matt doesn't want to tell you what his payment is. That Matt could only borrow $100K and could just remodel part of his home. But this Matt borrowed $400K and made his dream home come to life, plus other amazing benefits. Don't be that Matt. Be this Matt. Figure Home Equity Line. Faster than a bank loan, cheaper than a personal loan.
It's more than a business. It's a relationship. We feel the same way. Local Solutions is your personal partner for all of your integrated marketing needs. Local Solutions powered by Cox Media Group. Strategic, trusted solutions.
Stay tuned for a special free offer from Flash Force Tactical Flashlight. With its powerful telescopic zoom, the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight gives you a super bright light visible at a distance of over 2,000 meters. With 7 useful modes, plus a USB rechargeable battery, the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight is always ready to light up the night. And if you scan the code on your screen and order right now, we'll send you a second Flash Force Tactical Flashlight absolutely free. Hurry, this is a limited time offer. Scan the code on your screen to order now.
Say hello to the Cobb Gobbler, the effortless corn stripper. That's cream of the crop. With its ergonomic design, peeling corn has never been easier. Crafted from solid, rust-proof stainless steel, the Cobb Gobbler is built to last.
I love the Cobb Gobbler. Totally changed my salad game.
I used my Cobb Gobbler so much I bought 3 more. It shucks great.
Elevate any dish with freshly shucked corn. It's quick, simple to use, and easy to clean. Scan the code for an exclusive discount.
We all love recipes with garlic, but trying to use an awkward garlic press makes a smelly mess. Introducing the Great Garlic, your ultimate kitchen companion for effortlessly crushing garlic to perfection. Just place a peeled clove of garlic under the grate, rock it back and forth, and say goodbye to tedious chopping and messy mincing. The Great Garlic ensures consistent results every time. Scan the code on your screen to order your Great Garlic today. This is a limited time offer, so scan now and find out for yourself just how great the Great Garlic is.
If you use a pen, the pen tool.
And here's a look at the Howard Franklin Bridge connecting Tampa to Clearwater. This is a live look. Tanika, we've been looking at this bridge all afternoon, and that camera's bouncing around. You see the waves hitting it, and earlier cars were driving on this.
Yeah, and then we saw law enforcement clearing the bridge, seemingly keeping people off. The conditions just getting worse there. Helene, now a major Category 3 storm projected to make landfall near Apalachicola in Florida's Panhandle.
Right, and expected to become a Category 4 at some point. Actually, Jack's Michael Yoshida is in Steinhatchee as state officials change their messaging from evacuate to shelter in place.
Every minute that goes by brings us closer to having conditions that are going to be simply too dangerous to navigate.
The National Weather Service is using another term, unsurvivable. When it comes to the storm surge, Helene is expected to unleash on parts of the Florida coast in the coming hours.
If it's 20 feet like they're saying, it's going to change the landscape in Franklin County, I can assure you that.
Franklin and Taylor counties are in Helene's expected landfall zone, but for much of Florida's Gulf Coast, mandatory evacuations have been in place since Wednesday, with state and local officials imploring residents, leave while you can.
Some people have made decisions that they're going to hunker down, even though they were requested to leave.
Regardless of that, the governor says rescue crews are standing by.
If there's people that are going to be in distress, we're going to be there to be able to assist in those efforts.
Their message now, survival.
If you hear trees snapping around your home, treat it like a tornado. Get to an interior portion of your home, get as low as you can.
And silence, officials warn, doesn't mean safe.
What that actually means is you're in the eye of the hurricane. All right? Do not go out and survey damage.
An eye that could be up to 50 miles wide, with more catastrophic conditions less than an hour behind it. Helene is expected to roar up the southeastern U.S., with impacts felt as far north as D.C. in the days ahead. Right now, along with Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, and Virginia are under a state of emergency.
Yeah, the flooding in and around Tampa is something, and we saw that bridge, and even the camera now, not even stable. It was a pretty still shot for the longest.
Right. And Helene's still a ways off.
100 miles plus away from Tampa, and Tampa's dodging a bullet. I hate to use that term, but getting lucky this time around again. And having said that, there's plenty of water going into Tampa, plenty of surge. There are tornado warnings. The true bands of Helene are in the Tampa area. The ones that we're getting are kind of loosely organized around the very outside of Helene right now.
Still organized enough, though, to bring us heavy rain, some gusty winds, and tornado warnings that we have been tracking and will be into tonight.
Yeah, we have some suspicious cells still on radar right now. So we take a look at the first alert weather day that's in effect as we continue to see bands of heavy rain and storms, strong winds. Tornadoes are our biggest concern. Those two items. There'll be brief downpours. It'll pour. It'll look like a hurricane for a while, but the total rainfall amounts won't be near as high as you might think. On average, kind of a 1, maybe 2-inch rainfall for Jacksonville. You get north and west, the amounts will be higher, closer to the eye, and there will be very quick improvement tomorrow, as nasty as it will get this evening and overnight. And it will sound pretty intense for a while. We'll be here throughout the entire night to keep you updated, keep you calm, and let you know exactly what is happening, or as some cases might be, what is not. But Helene has indeed intensified. Winds are now at 130 miles per hour. It's a Category 4 hurricane. That's an update. Yeah. This just came in from the National Hurricanes. Helene has just gone Cat 4. Winds at 130 miles per hour. It has increased its forward speed as expected. North-northeast at 23 miles per hour. Pressure continues to drop. And yeah, it is still strengthening. Look at the storms that are firing up in the eye wall. This is not going to go down anytime soon. What we could see happen later this evening is an eye wall replacement cycle. And if that were to happen, it would take Helene off its peak before landfall. That's what we cross our fingers for now at this point, for not only the Big Bend, but much of northwest Florida, Lake City, Waycross, much of Georgia, because this is a powerful hurricane that's going to move inland very fast, and so the inland impacts are going to be great. And look at the wobbles in the eye. Now a little wobble to the east, but then it kind of corrects itself and goes back a little to the northwest. So the net movement is to the north-northeast, and there's Tampa now in those eastern bands of Helene. And we emphasize how narrow that cone is, but how widespread the wind damage is potentially going to be, and this really shows it nicely. A very narrow cone, but a very wide area of wind that extends all the way to the western Atlantic. So don't get too focused on that cone and think, oh, I'm okay, I'm not in the cone, because we still will see high winds and a tornado threat. And look at all the heavy rain from Florida northward all the way up into Tennessee Valley, where epic rains are forecast. The tornado threat is real through this evening in the middle of the night. Tornado watches are in effect. Remember, if you hear a large, loud roar, and the power goes out, you have seconds to react to a possible tornado. And here are those bands that are moving through Duval and metro area right now, moving quickly to north and northwest. No tornado warnings in effect, but quickly a tornado could develop in this pattern. Hilliard at 6:33, Yulee at 6:41, moving through Nocatee, headed into Ponte Vedra, Atlantic Beach at 6:35, Bay Meadows at 6:36. And then we have the bands over western Florida that'll move in later this evening and overnight, potentially producing damaging winds and some tornadoes, Corey.
Yeah, and that's why we got to keep an eye out, Mike, even
into what we consider strange times of the day. We're talking later tonight and early tomorrow morning. There's 7 p.m. You see most of the rain is near and west of Lake City, Valdosta, and Waycross. We may still have bands of showers that'll be pivoting near our coast or very near I-95. And by 8 p.m., those showers approach I-10. These will be locally heavy downpours of rain. There will be some gusty winds in there as well. Here's 11 p.m. You see this line of the color? We got to watch that very carefully. Those could be tornado producers, even toward Lake City. You see there is the eye wall, and the eye wall may get close to Lake City. And Suwannee County, Columbia County, Hamilton County, there could be some tornadic activity, especially on the northeast side of the eye wall as well. By midnight tonight, there's still bands. These could be tornado producers as well. And then into the early morning hours, through about 2 to 3 a.m., that's where we're watching for that tornado risk. And then it's done. Mike, it's going to cut off eventually, and then we have some pretty nice weather in store after Helene.
Yeah, TGIF, which people are looking forward to at this point. Sunshine breaks out. We're around 90 degrees, and then a pretty decent weekend with just an isolated brief shower. But again, Helene now a Category 4 hurricane. All the latest at actionnewsjax.com, and for free, download that handy-dandy First Alert weather app. We'll be back after just a short break.
Action News.
Matt needed to borrow some money. That Matt chose a personal loan, and this Matt chose a home equity line of credit. With his HELOC from Figure, this Matt got a lower monthly payment. And that Matt doesn't want to tell you what his payment is. That Matt could only borrow $100K and could just remodel part of his home. But this Matt borrowed $400K and made his dream home come to life. Plus other amazing benefits. Don't be that Matt. Be this Matt. Figure Home Equity Line. Faster than a bank loan, cheaper than a personal loan.
I won't let my active psoriatic arthritis joint symptoms define me.
Emerge as you. Tremfya is proven to significantly reduce joint pain, stiffness, and swelling. Some patients even felt less fatigued.
Serious allergic reactions may occur. Tremfya may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, or if you had a vaccine or plan to.
Emerge as you. Emerge Tremfyant. Ask your doctor about Tremfya.
It's more than a business. It's a relationship. We feel the same way. Local Solutions is your personal partner for all of your integrated marketing needs. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Strategic, trusted solutions.
Stay tuned for a special free offer from Flash Force Tactical Flashlight. With its powerful telescopic zoom, the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight gives you a super bright light visible at a distance of over 2,000 meters. With 7 useful modes, plus a USB rechargeable battery, the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight is always ready to light up the night. And if you scan the code on your screen and order right now, we'll send you a second Flash Force Tactical Flashlight absolutely free. Hurry, this is a limited time offer. Scan the code on your screen to order now.
Say hello to the Cobb Gobbler, the effortless corn stripper. That's cream of the crop. With its ergonomic design, peeling corn has never been easier. Crafted from solid, rust-proof stainless steel, the Cobb Gobbler is built to last.
I love the Cobb Gobbler. Totally changed my salad game.
I used my Cobb Gobbler so much I bought 3 more. It shucks great.
Elevate any dish with freshly shucked corn. It's quick, simple to use, and easy to clean. Scan the code for an exclusive discount.
We all love recipes with garlic, but trying to use an awkward garlic press makes a smelly mess. Introducing the Great Garlic, your ultimate kitchen companion for effortlessly crushing garlic to perfection. Just place a peeled clove of garlic under the grate, rock it back and forth, and say goodbye to tedious chopping and messy mincing. The Great Garlic ensures consistent results every time. Scan the code on your screen to order your Great Garlic today. This is a limited time offer, so scan now and find out for yourself just how great the Great Garlic is.
If you use a pen, the Pen Tool Pro is a must-have multifunction creative gadget, perfect for every workspace.
Absolutely free. Scan the code on your...
Almost all of Northeast Florida's schools and Southeast Georgia schools as well are closed tomorrow because of the storm, but St. Johns County plans on being back to normal tomorrow. As of now, the plan for everyone is to be open on Monday. Action News X continues at 6:30 on Fox 30.
As we continue our coverage of Hurricane Helene, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned for a special free offer. Stay tuned for a special free offer from Flash Force Tactical Flashlight. With its powerful telescopic zoom, the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight gives you a super bright light visible at a distance of over 2,000 meters. With 7 useful modes, plus a USB rechargeable battery, the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight is always ready to light up the night. And if you scan the code on your screen and order right now, we'll send you a second Flash Force Tactical Flashlight absolutely free. Hurry, this is a limited time offer. Scan the code on your screen to order now.
Say hello to the Cobb Gobbler, the effortless corn stripper. That's cream of the crop. With its ergonomic design, peeling corn has never been easier. Crafted from solid, rust-proof stainless steel, the Cobb Gobbler is built to last.
I love the Cobb Gobbler. Totally changed my salad game.
I used my Cobb Gobbler so much I bought 3 more. It shucks great.
Elevate any dish with freshly shucked corn. It's quick, simple to use, and easy to clean. Scan the code for an exclusive discount.
We all love recipes with garlic, but trying to use an awkward garlic press makes a smelly mess. Introducing the Great Garlic, your ultimate kitchen companion for effortlessly crushing garlic to perfection. Just place a peeled clove of garlic under the grate, rock it back and forth, and say goodbye to tedious chopping and messy mincing. The Great Garlic ensures consistent results every time. Scan the code on your screen to order your Great Garlic today. This is a limited time offer, so scan now and find out for yourself just how great the Great Garlic is.
If you use a pen, the Pen Tool Pro is a must-have multifunction creative gadget, perfect for every workspace.
It has a ruler, level, screw bit, ballpoint pen, and a stylus for touchscreen devices.
5 functional tools, all in one convenient place. A must-have for any creator.
From concept to creation, the Pen Tool Pro is your versatile companion, simplifying your workflow, putting the focus on what truly matters, your creativity. Scan the code to order the Pen Tool Pro while supplies last.
Scan the code on your screen right now to get your free offer from AutoVac, the handheld vacuum for cars and trucks. Keeping your vehicle's interior clean can be such a hassle. Big vacuums on wheels are impossible to use for quick jobs, and professional detailing is time-consuming and expensive. But now, there's the AutoVac, the handheld vacuum for cars and trucks that makes vehicle interior cleanup quick and easy. The AutoVac's powerful suction handles dirt, dust, crumbs, and debris with ease. Even sand and metal screws are no problem for the AutoVac. Plus, a lightweight ergonomic design makes it the perfect choice for cleanup every time. Scan the code on your screen now to get the AutoVac for just $59.99. But if you order right now, you'll get a second AutoVac absolutely free. Scan the code on your screen to take advantage of this special TV offer. Hurry, this is only available for a limited time. Get your AutoVac today.
Intensification cycle this afternoon. That was our fear all along. Kind of struggled, kind of wobbled, kind of hobbled the last few days. This is a classic late season hurricane in the Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico. We've seen it with Michael in 2018, to some extent Idalia, although it was off its peak when it hit Florida. Another big hit for the Big Bend.
One of the ways I've heard you describe these things is sometimes they can just kind of turn into a machine where they operate and continue on in their state. You know, Helene has been strengthening. If it keeps doing that, that's really bad news. We may have an eye wall replacement cycle that at least weakens the blow a bit.
Hopefully takes it off its peak, although if there's an eye wall replacement cycle, it's not happening anytime real soon.
Right.
But that's okay, because if it happens a little later on, it's a little weaker as it's approaching Florida. We don't know for sure that that's going to happen. It's impossible to predict eye wall replacement cycles and timing-wise until it's actually in the process of happening. But look at that satellite show here in video as that eye wraps up and heavy storms wrap around its center. Goodness gracious, that's a powerful hurricane moving north-northeastbound quickly, 23 miles per hour. That's another situation you don't want, is a fast-moving hurricane as it approaches land. Now, closer to home, we have already had some lead bands of showers and a few storms moving quickly to the north and northwest. Burst of rain, you get some wind gusts, and we have had a couple of isolated tornado warnings. There are no tornado warnings in effect right now, but that's kind of a suspicious one at Bay Meadows and I-95 that may at least be producing some pretty decent wind. That's pushed north out of Nocatee, moving across Duval County through Nassau County, headed into southern and southeastern portions of Georgia as well, and then even more offshore. Now we'll get a little bit of a break, and then more approaches from the west. This is a little bit more directly associated with Helene, and of course that will become even more common and more widespread as the look at the lightning around that eye. Again, in indication of a very intense hurricane. St. Augustine in the rain and wind right now, although the heaviest rain for the moment has shifted just a bit north of St. Augustine, Corey.
Yeah, let's go county by county, Mike, with that forecast. Let's start in Clay County. We have winds 30 to 40 miles per hour, gusts 50 plus, 1 to 2 inches of rain with an isolated tornado from Orange Park to Green Cove, Penny Farms, and Keystone Heights. Up into Nassau County, where we have some bursts of heavy rain now, at storm surge along the coast in the Amelia River around 1 to 3 feet. Winds 30 to 40 miles per hour, gusts 50 plus with 1 to 2 inches of rain and an isolated tornado. Into Baker County, those winds will be a little higher, 50 to 60 mile per hour winds, gusts 65 plus, 2 to 4 inches of rain. There may be a little bit heavier rain amounts, especially farther to the west, out towards Sanderson and Olustee. We can't rule out an isolated tornado. And into Columbia County, the winds will be a little bit higher, closer to the center of Helene. The sustained winds will be 55 to 65. Gusts will be 75 plus. The rain will be a little bit heavier as well, 3 to 5 inches of rain, in some case a little more, and an isolated tornado. Then into Union County, 50 to 60 mile per hour winds, gusts 70 plus. 2 to 4 plus inches of rain with an isolated tornado. And Bradford County, 40 to 50 mile per hour winds, gusts 55 plus, 1 to 3 inches of rain. Some neighborhoods may get a little more, and an isolated tornado. That tornado threat continues into tonight and even early tomorrow morning. We're going to time out that rain hour by hour. And when the sun comes out, we need it. That's in the First Alert 7-day forecast.
All right, well, a little over 30 minutes ago, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis gave an update on the state's response to Helene. He is in Tallahassee.
That's right, and he says some people in Florida will need to be prepared to lose power at some point.
Make sure your phones are charged. Make sure you have what you need to be able to get through a period of time where you're going to have an interruption in power if you decided to hunker down. Once we start to get the real nasty conditions, don't at that point go on the roadways. That is very hazardous. That does produce fatalities when people do that in the middle of the storm.
And speaking of nasty conditions, Lake City is expected to get the worst of it in our area. Lake City, about a 3-hour drive from where Helene is set to make landfall in Florida's Big Bend. Action News Jack's Jake Stofan is there. And Jake, you're bracing for impact in Lake City.
Well, right now we're working to get an update from Columbia County officials outside here at the EOC locally, especially given that this storm has continued to move a little more easterly than originally expected. But in terms of local conditions right now, we've gotten a little bit of rain over the last few hours, but in terms of wind, not a whole lot. You can see on this anemometer right now, 4.4 mile per hour for 3.8. We're not seeing a whole lot over 10, but obviously don't let that fool you. Things are going to get worse as we progress later into the night. And some residents we've spoken with today say they're getting a lot more nervous, especially as they see this track shift. Emergency response vehicles and line crews are staged around Lake City in preparation for Helene's arrival. County officials met this morning and took particular notice of Helene's eastward movement overnight, explaining impacts could be greater than first anticipated. We caught up with Marie Koblenz, who told us she has serious concerns for the safety of the people living in the mobile home park she operates. She says she's closely watching the forecast and even considering seeking shelter outside of the park herself.
What is your biggest concern?
That the roofs will be blown off and somebody with the children might be hurt.
How many people would you say live in your mobile home park?
Probably about 70.
70? Do you know if any of them are going to shelters, or what's kind of been your advice to them?
I've been asking them, to clean everything up and take every precaution they can to leave if at all possible.
There are 5 storm shelters open here in Columbia County, as well as 1 for pets. You can find a full list of the locations on actionnewsjax.com, and there are still a few hours if you want to make that decision to get out of your home and get into one of those safer shelters. For local coverage, you can count on live in Lake City. I'm Jake Stofan, Action News Jax.
And officials with the city of Waycross are preparing for the worst of Hurricane Helene. Action Jack's Annette Gutierrez is there. Annette, what are you seeing right now?
Well, Ben, in just the last 5 minutes, I started to feel some rain. I had to put my rain jacket on because we're now starting to feel the effects of Helene on its way. And we've been walking around, driving around to several businesses here in Waycross, and people are boarding up in their own former fashion. Here at Lowe's, they have put up some wooden pallets of 2x4s to protect from any wind shear going into those glass doors. And across the street at Walmart, we actually saw some cardboard makeshift barriers. And I actually wanted to show you the tree. You can see that there's not much of a breeze happening, but now we are starting to feel that rain, and our first alert weather team says that Waycross is expecting to get some pretty significant impact from high winds to potential tornadoes. They said that 65 mile to 75 mile per hour wind gusts are what we could expect to see tonight and into the morning. So of course you want to prepare for that. County officials are encouraging you to stay put. We may see some power outages, and if those winds get to 35 miles per hour, first responders will not be able to come help you. So that's why county officials are telling you, of course, to stay indoors and stay prepared. But of course, you want to download that First Alert Weather app so that you can get all of the alerts up to date, and stay with Action News Jax for the First Alert Weather updates. But for now, for local coverage, you can count on reporting live in Waycross. Annette Gutierrez, Action News Jax.
And today, President Joe Biden declared a state of emergency for Georgia. Now, it makes more counties eligible for direct federal assistance. Locally, that includes Camden, Glenn, Ware, and Charlton counties. And at the state level, Governor Kemp says they've got thousands of workers on standby.
They have roughly 10,000 linemen deployed and ready to go as soon as the storm passes and the winds die down enough that it is safe for them to work.
The governor says he expects impacts in every county all across Georgia.
Our live team coverage continues with Action News Jax' Emily Turner. She's in Northwest Jacksonville, where a tree came down.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the remainder of the tree, or at least the top of it, right here behind me. They had to cut it, get it out of the road, and move it. In the meantime, that tree did some pretty significant damage to a power line right there behind me. Not just the power line itself, leaving about 50 customers without power, but the power pole also broke in half, and you can see they've got the replacement in the ground there as they're trying to switch the power from the old one to the new one, and that's going to take some time, more time than simply just replacing the line. The tree itself was over here, and you can see what's left of the bottom of it. It came up at the roots, looks like it was a little bit rotted there, but it at the base was grown into another oak tree, the one that's right next to it that's still standing. And if you pan up, you can see it's leaning pretty significantly over to the left and over those power lines. So the concern here is that as this wind starts to really creep up and ramp up, that may then undo all of the work that these guys right here behind me and ladies are doing to try and get the power restored. They're working really hard to get it done, and hopefully that tree stays put for now. But in the meantime, they're trying to get this done as quickly as possible. But we'll be roaming around town throughout the night to keep you up to date on the very latest when it comes to damage and issues in Jacksonville. But for now, we are live in Northwest Jacksonville. Emily Turner, Action News Jax.
At least 24 shelters are now open across Northeast Florida to help people needing a place to ride out the storm. And this map shows you how many shelters each county has. All of our local counties do have shelter options for people with disabilities. You can find a full list of the shelters that are open in your county by going to actionnewsjax.com. And Florida's Emergency Management Division says it is giving people free rides to storm shelters. The agency partnering with Uber to make this happen. You can get a free ride in counties under a state of emergency, which includes all of Northeast Florida right now. To get a free ride, you do need to download the Uber app and then use the promo code Helene Relief. It covers trips up to $35 to and from a shelter.
I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. We have some initial bands, not really directly associated with Helene yet, but still heavy and kind of look pretty impressive when they move through your neighborhood. Headed northbound at the moment, but the meat, if you will, of Helene is still off to the west and southwest. We have to deal with that later this evening and overnight. Corey and I will time it out for you in the First Alert forecast after the break.
And right now, Helene making its impact felt in Key West. A live look at the southernmost point. You see the waves crashing. The good news is no one's there taking pictures like usual, but Helene making its impact felt tonight.
Stay tuned for a special free offer from Flash Force Tactical Flashlight. With its powerful telescopic zoom, the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight gives you a super bright light visible at a distance of over 2,000 meters. With 7 useful modes, plus a USB rechargeable battery, the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight is always ready to light up the night. And if you scan the code on your screen and order right now, we'll send you a second Flash Force Tactical Flashlight absolutely free. Hurry, this is a limited time offer. Scan the code on your screen to order now.
Say hello to the Cobb Gobbler, the effortless corn stripper. That's cream of the crop. With its ergonomic design, peeling corn has never been easier. Crafted from solid, rust-proof stainless steel, the Cobb Gobbler is built to last.
I love the Cobb Gobbler. Totally changed my salad game.
I used my Cobb Gobbler so much I bought 3 more. It shucks great.
Elevate any dish with freshly shucked corn. It's quick, simple to use, and easy to clean. Scan the code for an exclusive discount.
We all love recipes with garlic, but trying to use an awkward garlic press makes a smelly mess. Introducing the Great Garlic, your ultimate kitchen companion for effortlessly crushing garlic to perfection. Just place a peeled clove of garlic under the grate, rock it back and forth, and say goodbye to tedious chopping and messy mincing. The Great Garlic ensures consistent results every time. Scan the code on your screen to order your Great Garlic today. This is a limited time offer, so scan now and find out for yourself just how great the Great Garlic is.
If you use a pen, the Pen Tool Pro is a must-have multifunction creative gadget, perfect for every workspace.
It has a ruler, level, screw bit, ballpoint pen, and a stylus for touchscreen devices.
5 functional tools, all in one convenient place. A must-have for any creator.
From concept to creation, the Pen Tool Pro is your versatile companion, simplifying your workflow, putting the focus on what truly matters, your creativity. Scan the code to order the Pen Tool Pro while supplies last.
Scan the code on your screen right now to get your free offer from AutoVac, the handheld vacuum for cars and trucks. Keeping your vehicle's interior clean can be such a hassle. Big vacuums on wheels are impossible to use for quick jobs, and professional detailing is time-consuming and expensive. But now, there's the AutoVac, the handheld vacuum for cars and trucks that makes vehicle interior cleanup quick and easy. The AutoVac's powerful suction handles dirt, dust, crumbs, and debris with ease. Even sand and metal screws are no problem for the AutoVac. Plus, a lightweight ergonomic design makes it the perfect choice for cleanup every time. Scan the code on your screen now to get the AutoVac for just $59.
International Airport. The airport is open, is operational, but airlines are canceling some flights because of Helene. So you want to check with your airline for the latest. And here's a look at FlightAware. Delays today, 23. Cancellations showing 62. So again, for the most up-to-date flight information, check your itinerary with your airline and also for rebooking options.
And Florida's Attorney General Ashley Moody already reporting that people are complaining about price gouging.
Yeah, AG Moody says her office has gotten complaints about fuel, water, and hotel rooms. And she says any businesses caught overcharging consumers can face fines.
If those prices are jacked up, we need you to let us know. We've already stopped some of these price increases in real time. That lets everybody get the supplies they need and be able to afford them.
People who feel prices on essential items that have been drastically increased in the past few days can contact the price gouging hotline at 1-866-9-NO-SCAM. We also have that website on our website, actionnewsjacks.com.
The Red Cross sent hundreds of blood products to Florida to help those impacted by Hurricane Helene. Now, they urge everyone in unaffected areas to donate blood and platelets. Now, if you can donate, go to actionnewsjacks.com and click the action button.
Ahead of Hurricane Helene, scientists with the U.S. Geological Survey are deploying 13 wave sensors between Venice and Panama City. And here's some pictures showing the scientists installing the sensors all along the coast. Action News Jack's First Alert Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish back with us. And Mike, those sensors are going to measure water levels and give some insight on wave height and even frequency.
Right, pretty interesting, and it ought to be some pretty amazing data here over the next 24 hours. In fact, I posted about that in the Burrish blog just last night, so there's a link to their work and then even a link to where you can find the map. Most of those sensors are going to be in the Big Bend and then along the West Coast, and boy, those numbers are going up quickly now and will be especially high this evening and overnight. And then that data will be stored and will be shared with you and the rest of us and see what kind of surge occurred and help us with research for forecasting future tropical storms and hurricanes. Now, this is a wide view of current wave wave heights, not too far from the hurricane, 22 feet, but wouldn't be surprised if there's some 30, 40, 50 footers here, especially east and southeast of the circulation of Helene. In fact, you see a bright orange there. We're missing the data, but it's likely that's 30 feet plus. On the other side of the state, far removed from Helene, relatively so, 6 to 9 feet at our beaches, that's not a picnic in the water, obviously, but it's not as near as severe as the west coast. So Hurricane Helene now has gone Category 4 within the last 30 minutes. That's not a surprise. Continuing to move steadily north-northeast and increasing that forward speed at about 23 miles per hour. It'll be speeding right into the Big Bend and then into Georgia. Once into Georgia, it then will be slowing down, and that becomes a problem in itself too. But a really well-defined eye. It's a powerful hurricane, kind of thing you don't want to see and that we feared could happen, and indeed is. Very narrow cone just means a high confidence forecast heads up into Georgia, and then it begins to slow. And as it just kind of lollygags over Tennessee, tons of rain here in parts of the Appalachians and the Tennessee Valley, unfortunately. Helene's wind history, we'll watch the steady increase here with the rapid intensification cycle this afternoon. Kind of steady state, slowly increasing through yesterday and last evening. Hit 100-mile-per-hour winds early this morning, then became a Cat 2, and then bang, Cat 4. Late this afternoon with 130-mile-per-hour sustained winds estimated by Hurricane Hunter aircraft. And we do have some really distant bands that are producing heavy rain now at the International Airport, have moved through a good part of Duval County. Some of these can quickly rotate, although are not at the moment. We are getting moderate flood stage now, moderate flooding in the St. Johns River at the Main Street Bridge. Not unexpected. I talked about this. South winds blowing right up the river. It's combined with some heavy rain, the high tide, and so there is a fair amount of flooding now occurring near the downtown area. It will subside some after high tide, but we'll also still have the strong south winds and the approach of Helene. This heavy band is headed into the International Airport at 6:40, Yulee at 6:48, St. Mary's at 7:01, Kingsland at 7:05, and heavy rain will make its way up to the Nahunta, Waycross, Brunswick, and the rest of the bands are kind of offshore, and we catch a little bit of a break thereafter before things ramp up near a little bit after 9 o'clock tonight, Corey, and then through a good part of the rest of the night.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. We got to stay weather aware. You got to have a way to receive severe weather information into early tomorrow morning, and then we will start to get rid of the rain and impacts. Let's go county by county. We'll start in Glenn County, Jekyll Island, Brunswick, St. Simons Island, Dock Junction, Thalman. Surge will be about 2 to 3 feet along the coast. 40 to 50 mile per hour winds, gusts 60 plus, with that rainfall around 2 to 3 inches, in some cases a little more, and an isolated tornado. In Camden County, that surge is also 2 to 3 feet, winds 40 to 50, gusts 60 plus, with rain 2 to 3 inches and an isolated tornado from Kings Bay Base to Kingsland and Woodbine. In Pierce County, Bristol, Blackshear, Patterson, the winds will be a little higher, gusting up to about 70 or in some cases a little higher, rain around 2 to 4 plus inches, and then an isolated tornado. A very similar story in Brantley County as well. From Hoboken to Nahunta to Atkinson, 45 to 55 mile per hour winds, gusts 60 plus, 2 to 4 plus inches of rain and an isolated tornado. Charlton County, including Folkestone and St. George, 40 to 50 mile per hour winds, gusts 60 plus, 2 to 4 inches of rain and an isolated tornado. And then in Ware County, this is where we could see the highest winds, not only Waycross, but also Lake City in Columbia County in northeast Florida. Gusts 70 plus miles per hour, rain 3 to 5 inches plus, and an isolated tornado. It looks like the heaviest rain is going to be focused well to the west of Highway 301 out toward I-75 as well. But Mike, after landfall, Helene is going to quickly move away.
That's good news because the underside of Helene will literally disappear later tonight. Tomorrow's drier continental air wraps around landfalling Helene. And once that happens, we'll see the strongest winds begin to slowly come down tomorrow, but it'll still be windy at sunrise. But it'll be done raining and storming, and we'll be dealing with the strong winds, recovery efforts, of course, especially north and west of Jacksonville where the impacts are going to be greatest. And then we break out into sunshine and it soars to around 90 tomorrow, but at least with lower humidity and the winds slowly subsiding in the afternoon. Weekend's always in view in the first 7-day forecast. An isolated shower, but a lot of dry hours over the weekend. Pretty hot, upper 80s to near 90, but at least dipping into the upper 60s at night. Anybody with long-term power outages tomorrow through the weekend, you're going to have to deal with these hot temperatures in the afternoon. It will drop off a little bit milder at night over the weekend. Keep in mind that sunrise it is about 7:20 to 25 and sunset's about 7:20 20 to 25. So that's when you're going to have a little bit of extra daylight when you have no power at all. And then into next week, pretty hot temperatures again during the day, but a little bit milder at night. There's some other tropical activity out there, by the way, that we're not touching on right now. You can get up to date on that. In Talking the Tropics with Mike at actionnewsjax.com, our free First Alert weather app, and all the latest weather information at actionnewsjax.com.
And power outages are expected because of Helene. How to keep yourself safe if you use a generator.
What to Watch is brought to you by Closets by Design. Imagine your home completely organized.
This is Edgar.
Hi, I'm Edgar.
He lives on an island, likes walking his dog, and is remodeling his home, but needed some cash.
I got a home equity line of credit with Figure. With interest rates rising, I wanted to preserve my low mortgage rate. Instead of doing a cash out refinance, through the HELOC product, I'm saving about $18,000.
And it was fast.
Within 2 minutes, I had a response as to how much I can take out.
Get approval in minutes and funding in as few as 5 days. See how much you could save at Figure.com.
When we started Warby Parker, we just sold glasses. And only online. But people liked them. A lot. So we offered more things. Like sunglasses and contacts. And then we thought, what if we sold eyewear online and in stores? So we did that. And now we have stores in neighborhoods all over. There you can chat with friendly opticians and get eye exams from top-notch doctors. Now, no matter where you go, we've got your eyes covered.
Have you been dreaming about paying off credit card debt? Installing solar panels? Going to college? Or even buying a plane?
Did someone really do this?
Yeah, someone really did this. With Figure HELOC, your home can help you cover so many things. The opportunities are endless. Unlock up to $400,000 to make that wish list a reality and choose the fastest HELOC on the planet. Figure Home Equity Line. Faster than a bank loan, cheaper than a personal loan.
Stay tuned for a special free offer from Flash Force Tactical Flashlight. With its powerful telescopic zoom, the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight gives you a super bright light visible at a distance of over 2,000 meters. With 7 useful modes, plus a USB rechargeable battery, the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight is always ready to light up the night. And if you scan the code on your screen and order right now, we'll send you a second Flash Force Tactical Flashlight absolutely free. Hurry, this is a limited time offer. Scan the code on your screen to order now.
Say hello to the Cobb Gobbler, the effortless corn stripper. That's cream of the crop. With its ergonomic design, peeling corn has never been easier. Crafted from solid, rust-proof stainless steel, the Cobb Gobbler is built to last.
I love the Cobb Gobbler. Totally changed my salad game.
I used my Cobb Gobbler so much I bought 3 more. It shucks great.
Elevate any dish with freshly shucked corn. It's quick, simple to use, and easy to clean. Scan the code for an exclusive discount.
We all love recipes with garlic, but trying to use an awkward garlic press makes a smelly mess. Introducing the Great Garlic, your ultimate kitchen companion for effortless time. Scan the code on your screen now to get the auto vac.
Down power lines can mean outages for thousands across the areas that are affected. Here's some do's and don'ts if you do have to use your portable generator. You do want to run your machine a few times a year just to make sure it's working. Do not place a running generator inside of your home or garage. Something else that you do want to make sure you have plenty of fresh fuel, and also do not store that fuel in your home or near any fire hazards. Do check your oil and use heavy-duty, properly grounded extension cords. Do not exceed the wattage of your generator's capacity.
All right, another live look back at Key West and the southernmost point. We showed you about 5-10 minutes ago. No one was there as the waves are crashing from Helene. Well, now a few people have shown up in swimming trunks, making their presence felt there. Again, a live look, something we certainly do not recommend there or even in our area as Helene approaches. And First Alert Weather Team is staying on top of Helene. Anytime there's a tornado warning or any other threatening weather that's coming our way, of course, they told us about a tornado warning in St. Johns County about half an hour, 45 minutes ago. Again, the First Alert Weather Team staying on top of everything with Hurricane Helene.
And remember to stay with Action News. Jax are going to be with you throughout the night, tracking Helene.
We're taking this storm very seriously. In Florida, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when a storm will strike, and that's why preparation is key.
Don't put yourself at risk. We have fatalities on the roadways in hazardous conditions almost every storm.
It's very concerning. I'm from Tallahassee. This is my hometown. We have never seen a storm of this magnitude that could possibly be a direct hit.
If the power suddenly goes out and you hear a loud roar, there's a tornado moving in very near your area.
As a hurricane veteran, this is going to be a bad one.
From the north border to the east border to the west border to the south border, I want everybody to take this storm seriously.
What is your biggest concern?
That the roofs will be blown off.
It's not like recent storms that we've dealt with.
We'll just pray that we don't get as much rain as predicted that we were going to get.
Hi, I'm Rick Garcia, Sales Director at Honda of the Avenues. Together with my team,